Hey everybody, it's me, Shawl360. You're looking out the window to my patio because it's a definitely prettier sight than I am this morning. So, I'm doing this video for one reason and one reason alone, Carolyn. Um, I'm doing this video because this morning I woke up, went to Twitter, and found out that Wonho, who is one of Carolyn's ultimate biases in K-pop, left the group Monsta X. And this is following several days of just controversy and rumors and other ugly things being said about the young man. So I wanted to do this video kind of as my way to have a conversation with Carolyn because we don't have each other's phone numbers, and also because my Twitter fingers suck, and so I would never be able to write out everything I want to say to her. But I thought this may help some of you, which is the reason why I put Woojin's name in the title. So Carolyn, I'm really sorry, first of all, that this has happened. I'm sorry that Wonho has been the target of the media, that they have spent so much time dragging his name, making big scandals where there really shouldn't be any, not even taking the time to follow up on information to see if it's actually true, that they're allowing attention seekers and whoremongers to drag him through the mud and not even thinking about what will be the outcome of this kind of behavior. And the fact that it's brought us to this point is very upsetting, because obviously you don't leave a group that you've been with for so long, that you literally just did a comeback, that you've invested so much time in. You don't leave them overnight for no reason. It had to have been a really heavy toll on his heart. It had to be something that he wondered, could he ever recover from the sheer amount of bad news and bad press. He had to wonder if he was a liability to the group, if people will trust him. Um, and that goes to just being Korean in general. And not saying that him being Korean means that he's not human, like that, obviously not. But what I mean is there's a real sense of filial duty in Korea, and the idea that your actions reflect on everyone around you, associated with you, your parents, your friends, your coworkers. And as sensitive as Wonho is, it could have been just that he felt like, I don't know how to clear my name, and I don't know how my dirty name can keep the rest of my company, my friends, my associates clean. So I'm just going to ruin myself from the situation. And it really could be just that. Um, but with that being said, the whys. The whys will sometimes never get. To be honest with you, sometimes you like to assume you know what the whys are, but sometimes the answers just aren't there. It could have been more than just, my name is dirty, I want to get myself out of here. It could have been that he saw that even if he was able to resolve the issue with, I'm sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that, it cut out. Even if he was able to resolve the issue with owing the money back, even if he was able to get people to let go of all of the Me Too stuff, even if all of that was to disappear, maybe the idea that all the hard work you put into what you do for a living, all of the struggle and the pain and the sleepless nights and the sprained ankles and the hurting knees, and it could all be over because of bad press. Maybe he just came to the realization that it's not worth it. And to be honest with you, Carolyn, it probably isn't. There's great rewards with being in K-pop, but at what cost? At what cost to your mental sanity? At what cost to your sense of self and your sense of purpose in the world? At what cost, really? And to walk on eggshells every time, thinking that I'm doing good, things are going well, I feel like there's nothing out there that can get me, and then somebody drags out a picture from 10 years ago. Or somebody who you thought was a friend pulls out a group chat conversation that you're just in, and then there's bad things happening, and then there you go. And I'm not saying that to say that the whole Mocha group chat thing was a misunderstanding. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is, there's no part of your life when you're a celebrity like this that can't be put up for scrutiny, can't be put up for examination, can't be interpreted by the press to mean whatever the narrative fits. And at this point, maybe he just said, I don't want to live that way. I don't want to live constantly scared that somebody's going to bring out the next bit of bad press against me and say, oh, this is proof of that about them. Because the people that are doing these stories, they don't know him. They don't care about him, to be honest. They're just looking for clicks. They're looking for, ad revenue streams. That's all that they want. And I'm sure he's well aware of this. And it's like, I'm not going to give this to you. I'm not going to be out here letting you guys use me as fodder for your gossip rags. And I hate that it has to be that way, that he has to give up his career in order to not be used. But, in the end of the day, he's being used constantly anyway. Starship is using him. The television channels, the music shows, the concert promoters, everybody's using him. Everybody's using him. So maybe he's just tired of a life of being used by people. Now, I'm going to say something that you might find upsetting, Carolyn. Don't hurt me here. The money situation. I'm not saying that he might actually owe this young lady money. But if he does owe her money, and it was just about getting her paid back, it sucks that he didn't resolve this sooner. But I think that it was not, how do I put this away? I think it wasn't a big enough deal for him to leave his group, because, for what she's asking for $35,000. Probably more money could have been given to her. I'm sure it was no issue, but I think it's more than that. I really, really do. I think that this young lady, I'm sorry, I'm misgendering them. I apologize. I think this young man who brought up the issue of rent has more grievances than just the rent. I think that the young man in question has other things that they would continue to press Wonho about. There might be photographs that are incriminating. There might be group chats that are a little bit saucy because he was a young man when they knew each other. There could be all kinds of other things going on in the background that have to do with the relationship that Wonho had with this person. And because of that, he said, I'm just not going to allow myself to be at this person's mercy, because it's not going to be about just paying back $35,000. It's going to be about also paying them to not reveal photographs and conversations and everything else. It would be a never-ending cycle, especially because Han So-yi is involved. Han So-yi being involved in the situation means you might as well just give it up, honestly. So with that being said, I just want you to know that I'm with you here. I care about you, and we'll never get the real why. We'll never get the whole why. All we'll get is our assumptions, our beliefs. But we have to comfort ourselves with the other side of what it means to let go. And so that's the reason why I put Woojin's name here, because, we don't know what the future is for Wonho. We don't know what the future is for Woojin. We don't know what the future is for the young man that left the boys. I cannot remember his name now. Sorry, folks. We don't know what the future is for a lot of these people when they leave their groups. It could be going back to school. It could be going to the military. It could be deciding to be behind the scenes in K-pop. It could be deciding to have nothing to do with the entertainment business. It could be seeking a solo career. We don't know. But as a person who loves music, who loves the artists that make music, one thing that we know for sure, if we have to choose between them being in a situation that does nothing good for them, or being in a situation that at the very minimum no longer hurts them, I think we all agree you should be in a situation that doesn't hurt you anymore. And not to bring it there, but much rather to have a living former idol, than not. and I'll just tie it in a bow right there. But yeah, we may never know the whys. It may be just self-preservation. It may be being fed up. It may be not wanting to deal with the headache. It may be that it's just not fucking fun anymore. It's not fun anymore. But whatever the reasons why, they're here. They may not be here in our faces, dancing and singing, but they are here. They're here. They're still walking the face of the earth. And that means more than anything else. It means so much else. And, whatever it is they decide to do from here, all we can pray is that they find peace and they find companionship and they're not alone in the rest of their journey. Because there's a lot of things we don't see. There's a lot of friendships that people have behind the scenes that we never know about. There's a lot of people who started out as trainees and didn't make it to ultimate groups, but they're still friends with some of these mega stars because there's still something there. And so there's still going to be some friendships. There's still going to be, happy shared moments. And even leaving the whole situation behind, leaving Monster X, Wonho's not going to leave Monster X without the memory of all of the beautiful times that he had as a part of the group, winning awards at music shows, seeing fans and watching them cheer for him, seeing compilation videos of his moments, probably laughing to himself about all the times that he teased us with his very alluring presence on screen. There's still a good takeaway from this. And as a person who contributed to his happy times, Carolyn, I hope you know that you gave that to him. For all the shit that he might have endured that made him say he didn't want to do this anymore, you gave him some of his good moments. You gave him his flowers. You gave him his accolades. You gave him reasons to be happy that he was in this lifestyle for the time that he was. And you can be proud of yourself for being a positive contribution to what may be a series of negative memories in the future. So don't let that be something that you look at as wasted time, or that maybe you didn't do anything to help him stay. Maybe you gave him something good to take away with his leaving. So I was asked a question about what do I think about Chaebol and kind of the way that they seem to be currently ruining K-pop. And I'm not laughing out of like, oh, this is a funny situation. I'm laughing more out of like hubris. Like, Han So-yi is a fucking pariah. Let's just all get that out the way. That bitch is ridiculous. I don't like her. She tried to take down Top. She took down BI. She managed to put her sticky, greasy hand into taking down Wonho. That bitch is scum of the earth. And I don't like to talk about women like that, but let's just call it what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. Fuck that bitch. But that being said, will she see retribution? Will she see karma? Will any of these things happen to her? Hell nah. Because she's from a rich family. She's from a rich family who's always going to pay her way out of trouble. She's got all these connections to all these different people because of who she comes from, who she's around, and things will never change for her. If anything, she's building up her legacy as, the number one gossip source in Korea. If anything, it's probably going to be her saying, I know all the back dirt, and you should employ me to be on your television channel, or you should employ me to be at your magazine, because I have all the scoop and all the connections, and I can get you all the teas. And so no, she'll never get retribution for this. And they never do. They never do. In the history of what I've read about Samsung Airs and the Korean airline scandal and all these other things, they never get their comeuppance. And it's not just Korea, folks. It's that way in Thailand. Read the story about the Red Bull Air. It's that way in China. It is that way in Japan. It is that way in America. It's that way in America. When that kid mowed down those people and they said he suffered from influenza, which is the reason why he didn't need to do prison time, It is that way all over the world. People who come from money do not suffer the same criminal consequences as poor people. So, can I judge Korea for being any more blatant about the fact that rich people don't suffer consequences? At least they're honest about it. Whereas here in America, we pretend like we have a justice system, but it's clearly for hire. So, in terms of what do I think about that situation, I think it's business as usual. I think it's business as usual. So, no, I don't see it changing. I don't see anything's going to get better. She's never going to get her karma points for this. It's always going to be what it is. It's always going to be what it is. And it sucks that she's allowed to parade out there in freedom, knowing how many people she's ruined. But again, is she ever going to see any consequences? No. I don't know if you guys remember the story. I feel so terrible because I cannot remember the guy's name, but there is a guy in first gen K-pop, and I always remember him because when VIX did Immortal Song, they did his song, and it was an episode of the show dedicated to stars that died too soon, K-pop stars that died too soon, and VIX did the show and they covered the gentleman's song, but he was a first generation K-pop star and he had been a part of a group and he was doing his first solo song. He performed it one time on Korean television and then the next day he was found dead of a supposed drug overdose. But there was evidence that his girlfriend, a chabol, had purchased horse tranquilizers and had purchased the syringes. Like, all the evidence was there to show that she did this. Not only did she not ever see any jail time, she got away. She got away. Like, the press had to expunge her name. You could not even say her name in connection with this. They had to take all of her pictures off of any kind of press. You couldn't see any photographs of this lady. She has since moved on with her life. She's happy now. She's living the dream. People know what family she was from, but they're not allowed to say anything about her because Korea has such strict laws regarding slander and defamation. They have stricter laws regarding slander and defamation than they do regarding sexual assault. And the rich definitely use those laws to keep the poor people from exposing the truth about them. So, I mean, if you can get away with literal murder, what makes us think that this girl is going to get caught for fucking ruining a career of somebody? So I just know that we can't stop her. The only thing we could do is not feed her clicks. The only thing we do is not go to her Instagram. The only thing we could do is not hold her up as being a feminist and not hold her up as being the one who's going to expose YG. That ship is coming on. She didn't tell on BI because she planned to expose YG for the shitty company it was. She told on BI so that her family could help get her out of her drug case. She told on Top so that her family could get her probation on her fucking drug case. All the stuff that she's been doing hasn't been because she's been some big justice warrior or truth teller. It's been to promulgate fame that she couldn't find as a trainee because she couldn't stay in a group. It's been for her to be able to keep people interested in her Instagram. It's been all this shit that she's done to try to attract attention, because if she didn't have attention from this, her plain ass face wouldn't get no other attention. Have you seen her? She's plain as fucking day. She's not even cute. You know, she's cuter than me, obviously, but she's not that fucking cute. And, you know, for the future, by the way, because I think this needs to be said, I've said everything I've said about chabols and, you know, how the system's never going to change. Young Korean people out there who want to get into the entertainment business, who want to make connections, who feel like it's one of those things where if you're not a part of the network, you'll never get in. Be fucking aware of these types. Be aware of the ones who are only mildly talented but have family with big connections that want you to be their best friend and want to hang out with you and want to share secrets with you to prove how close you are to each other. Lies. It'll come back to bite you in the ass. Lies. Keep your nose clean, children. Keep your nose clean. Don't trust nobody out there. It sucks that I have to tell you not to trust anybody. But if you're a future K-pop trainee, if this is what you really want in life, let me tell you something. People want more harm than good for you. And it's going to take you several years to be able to trust people. And at the end of the day, you may only be able to trust the people who are in the same position you're in. And even some of those you may not be able to trust. But don't get so comfortable around people that you give them anything they can use against you. Don't get so comfortable around people that you think that if you tell somebody it's going to stay in a confidence, because it's not. And it's like that for you regular people that watch me, you know? My own daughter, I've had to tell her over and over again, you have to wait before you let people in the sanctum. Before you let people into the inner workings of you, let them prove who they are. Give it time. Wait and see. Because all it takes is maybe 4 good arguments for you to determine that this person was trash from the beginning, but maybe they were good at hiding it. And then you've given them so much of yourself that you can never get back. So you took that L. So instead of taking that L, just keep it inside. It sucks, but just keep it in until you know that they mean good for you. Because not everybody does. You know, and I hate that Wonho had a friendship with this young man that he thought that, you know, if anything, you could come to me in private to settle these things, but instead you're hooked up with this socialite and you have to take it out into the world. Like, that's the other reason why I say, like, it may not just be about the money. It may be about the betrayal. Because think about it for a minute. It's been how many years now? If that young man really wanted his money like he says he did, he could have come out during Dramarama. He could have come out when they first said they were signing their deal in the US. There's so many things that this young man could have said and done to get their money well before they started hooking up with Hansoi. So that tells you something very important about this. It's not about the money. It is about the intimidation factor. It is about, I'm willing to sell out all the people I know in order to say that I am close to you, that I am a friend of yours. I'm willing to sell out Wano. I'm willing to sell out anybody that I was in Ulzang with back in the day. I'm willing to sell out every single person in order to keep this toxic individual in my life. Okay, I saw a comment that said, I'm a native English speaker, so I don't understand what you mean when you say your daughter stay on the man's neck. Oh, okay. So when I say stay on the man's neck, what I mean is the man is basically anybody who's oppressing you. And when I say stay on the man's neck, what it means basically is don't ever take your eye off of them. Don't ever allow them to sneak up on you. Stay on their neck. Continue to be behind them, waiting to see what their next move is. So there you go. But yeah, this young man involved with Hansoi, who was a friend of Wano's, it's not about the money. It's about selling him out. And you can imagine how Wonho feels thinking that someone who was close enough that he could be roommates with would sell him out. Think about how he's running down the list of people in his life thinking, who else is in a position to sell me out? Who else is willing to take money to divulge my secrets? Who else is out here just waiting to get the bag by going ahead and selling me down the river? Going ahead and outing me to the world. So that's the reason why I say, you know, if he said, I'm getting out of this because I don't want to live this life, constantly watching my back, constantly waiting for the next shoe to drop, constantly waiting for somebody to betray me and break my heart, I get it. I get it. I get it. Because if it was about the money, you could have come to the Starship attorneys and you could have asked for this money. You could have even told them, I'll go to dispatch if you don't run me my money. And you could do that behind the scenes. That's not what happened. What happened was, I'm going to make a news story out of this because my pseudo girlfriend is helping me get attention. That's what this was. And that's enough to break anybody's heart. And I feel bad because I did put Woojin in the title and I haven't really talked about him extensively, so I'm going to talk about him here right now. I'm not going to lie to you. He's not a young man that I know a lot about. But I want to talk about JYP and K-pop companies, and why it is that when we call ourselves a company stan, you really have to take it for a grain of salt. Unless you're talking about YG, because YG stands are a totally different animal. And that's not me picking on you. You know I'm right. Uh, the statement that JYP gave regarding Woojin makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. He's leaving for personal reasons. We're going to re-record everything, redo everything, push back the comeback. The rest of the group is going to go on as 6 members. Now, if I read it to you like that, it sounds reasonable. It sounds like something that anybody would say. But when you really look at it and you put it against everything that JYP has done in the past, it doesn't make any fucking sense. So Mina took an extended break from Twice to deal with personal issues. JYP was very clear about saying there's an anxiety issue here. She's taking time to be with family. We're allowing her to make decisions regarding what she wants to do with her future. And, you know, whatever she wants to do, we'll be right there 100% behind him and hope everything goes well. That is an approach to a personal circumstance. What personal circumstance could Woojin have that would cause them to say he left for personal circumstance, that they agreed to nullify his contract? That's a big tell right there. When the company is willing to write off your contract and not ask you for nothing in return, that's a big tell right there. And we have to re-record and re-edit everything to get this person out of here. That's money, guys. That costs money. They're losing money on the contract, plus they're losing money on redoing everything. It's fucking serious, guys. And then they take his picture off the website. I don't know what this young man did. I don't know what he didn't do. I don't know what JYP thought he did. Whatever it is, though, it is enough for them to say it stops today. And this is not me taking blame on either one. This is me saying that at the end of the day, JYP is a business, and they looked at this young man as a liability, and he was such a liability to their business that they cut him completely out. And again, like I said, I don't know what happened. We may never know what happened, because honestly, a lot of times we don't. We just don't. But standing these companies, these artists are commodities to them. These artists are commodities. They hire teams of people to decide what they wear, what hair color they're going to have, what training they're going to take, what sound they're going to come out with. They give the final approval on any songs that go out there. They give the approval to who does the final mixes, the final edits. They choose choreographers. They approve choreography. Even if you have a group that self-produces, the company gives the okay of what they're willing to pay to have printed. So even the ones who, they did all their own dances and they write all their own stuff and they do all their in-house production, the company is the one that tells you, we're going to pay to let the world see this. So at the end of the day, they don't care about these kids as people. These kids are products. These kids are products. And when the product is going to interfere with the bottom line or be a liability when it comes to stock price, these companies drop them like you would a failing product line. And that is what it is. So you might never get a Y. You might never get a Y. But that's because these companies don't care about making sure that the fan has the Y. They care about protecting the bottom line. That is exactly what it is. I have my suspicion about what happened. And if my suspicion is correct, I'm not going to even say it out loud, because there has to be a reason. It had to be enough for everything to stop immediately. If it is what I think it is, then you're foul as fuck for that, JYP. But it may have been something that everyone in this situation agreed to. And for those of you who know, you know. But it just really sucks. It just really sucks that people are so disposable when it comes to these companies. That's the part that hurts, is that people are so disposable, that they can matter so little that you wouldn't take the time to develop a war room and come up with a PR way to save somebody. You know? Like, come up with a way to save someone. And if you really want to know how little artists matter to companies, just take a look at Sully's funeral. Guess who had business commitments and couldn't show up to her? Isuman, who was the number one of Sully. She's the future of the company. We have so much faith in this young lady. We think she's amazing. We're just so impressed with her talent. We think the world of her. She can do anything. She dies, and he can't cancel a fucking meeting to make his way to Korea to say goodbye. If that don't tell you in plain words how little these companies care about their artist, I don't know what does. So when faced with the reality that you can be in a company that gives no shit about you, wouldn't even care if you died, and sticking around and facing rumors and gossip and media scrutiny and everything else, or just piecing out, taking your money and your memories and going home, well, I think you know what decision I would make. Well, fuck it, I'm a fighter. I might hang in there, but no. Because if they got my family involved, I absolutely would piece the fuck out. So I get it. I'd be gone too. I'd be gone too. But yeah, the whys might never come. The whys might never come. The what we do next might never come. But we comfort ourselves in the love we give these people while that we're here. We comfort ourselves in the support we gave them when they were actively promoting. We comfort ourselves in promising that we will support them in whatever their next venture is. We comfort ourselves in knowing that whatever pain they're in right now, this may be a means to an end to that pain. And that's more important than hanging in there and continuing being the butt of the joke, continuing to have your every move scrutinized, continuing to have well-meaning, innocuous comments being twisted to portray something else that was never really there. Maybe it's better just to let it go. So I'm sorry again. I'm sorry for people who are losing their bias in their group because they just don't want to do it anymore. I'm sorry that you don't get a proper goodbye sometimes because of the way the situation is. I'm sorry that there's going to be the unknown whys and there's going to be the what happens now. But I'm not sorry that people are doing what they need to do to protect their mental health. And that's real. That's really real. So thank you guys for watching. Carolyn, I don't know if you made it all the way through this. I'm sure I rambled, but I mean, it's early days, so not everything is completely concrete, but just know that you did the best you could to love Wonho when you could love Wonho. You did the best you could to be supportive. You never believed terrible things about him because you knew his heart. And he'll know that. Even if he doesn't know you specifically, he'll know that. And that'll be a comfort that he'll take with him when he thinks back on these days and these times, is that even if the media didn't care, even if he thought that people who were supposed to be friends didn't care, he knows that there are a group of people out there that do care. And that's not going to go away. That's going to be forever. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate you. I will be keeping this live stream up. And, guard your hearts, ladies and gentlemen. Guard your hearts. Guard your hearts. All right, y'all. Bye.